Hey folks, it's Bishopheals from the ECF Forums and Ohms Vape TV. How you guys doing today, baby? I'm over here today because it's been about over a month and a half that I've been playing with this atomizer. It's the Magma, that's for sure. I've been playing with different builds on it, and I just want to share with you a pretty decent build to actually work with. A very simple build for dual coils, being that people have been hitting me up, you know, how do you get at 0.24 or 0.25 ohms and stuff like that. And this thing has been vaping tremendously. I mean, it's just... as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of vapor. I get a lot of throat hit, depending on what use, but I'm using Buka, baby. Buka, forget about it, from Fluid. And this thing is hitting like a train, man. Just hitting me like there's no tomorrow. So I'm going to be taking this apart, cleaning it out, and I'm going to show you from beginning to end how to set this up. Forget about it. Okay, so when you actually get the Magma, it comes into this box right here, as you can see. Okay, it does arrive in this box, which is pretty cool. But when you get a closer look at this Magma, there are three parts. Okay, totally three parts. First part is the upper cap. Now, this is all 304 surgical grade stainless steel. See if I can focus that for you. There we go. Okay. Now, the threads on here are cut very, very fine and very nice. As you can see, it says Magma from Paradigm. And I'm actually using the iHybrid drip tip on here. So that's first compartment. Second one would be this, the AFC ring. Okay, so you can actually set this up for single or dual coils. Okay, and you can adjust it. Okay, you have three different hole sizes to choose from. Now this, however, this is a 22 millimeter wide standard size of an atomizer. Now what you're going to actually be seeing here up close is what I'm trying to show you is the insulator. Okay, you have an insulator down in the deck. Okay, and over here on the positive post, you see that? It's not, it's this one right here, all the way in the bottom. See that? It's a little white there. That's the hidden insulator for the positive post. On the other side, as you can see, there isn't one. See that? That's the negative. Okay, that one right there is the negative. Okay, and this one's the actual positive. Okay, now I've been hitting this from 0.15, 0.25 ohms, and it hasn't melted any of the seals. That's why I wanted to wait before doing this review, just to make sure how durable this atomizer is. And as you can see, the poles are not even burnt. Okay, so durability wise, it's one of the finest atomizers that I can actually recommend people if they're really looking for a really good atomizer. This is definitely something to look at, not to shy away from. Now, as far as these two holes, okay, these are the actual intake holes. Okay, now the coils are going to be sitting right on top of these holes, and you're going to be pulling the air on the sides from here. There's one hole, and here's the other hole. See that? Okay, so this is pretty much just like an L of a design. This thing's vertically going in, and then this one's just going in horizontally right there. Okay, to intersect. So with that, let me mount it on one of my bases. Okay, so what I'm going to be using is 24 gauge Cantel wire, and I'm also going to be using Avid Vape's rod that I actually used to do wraps. And what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be doing 6 wraps. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6. Okay. Nail clipper. Just to tighten up the wires. Okay, so it's a total of 6 wraps is what I got going on here. And what we need to make sure is that the actual holes, as you can see, I need to still unscrew just a little bit. Right there. And then the other one as well. There we go. Okay. Otherwise, you know, you can try to poke the hell out of it and it's not going to go in. So, once it's actually in, what I actually like to do is just to press down onto the bar and make sure that these wraps, as you can see that? It has to be flush with the hole. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure it's flush. And what I like to do is grab a pair of pliers. What I do is I start pushing it very, very gently while I hold the two rods down, and I try to position it to the middle. And what I like to do is to extend this wire, the one that's going on the negative right now, extend that out. Like so. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, and see, as you can see, it's right over the hole evenly. That's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Now what I do is I just bend the two wires like so. Okay, and then gently I just move the rod. Repeat the process. Okay, 6 wraps. That's 1, 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, and that's 6. Then I like to give it a little bit of a yank. Okay. Okay. Now I start inserting it in like so. And when I put it in, the same thing as before, we want to make sure that the wraps are in the center of the actual hole. Okay, so as you can see, it's almost in the center. So use a pair of pliers, and if we need to drag the wraps just a little bit, we do so. Just a little bit. Okay. So when we do that, you can pinch the sides. Okay. Then what we do is holding it right there dead center where the hole is, okay, with my thumb. Now I start yanking just a little bit into the wire. Like so. Now I press it down. Do the same on the other side. Then I take my screwdriver, okay, and I start screwing it down. Okay, now I remove the rod, put the rod in here, I squeeze the coils a little bit together. And we're going to get them very nice and close real soon. Now we cut the tails off, okay? So this is how it looks so far, okay? See, it's right over the hole. See that? See that? It's right over the hole, evenly. That's very important. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that the closer you have it, the closer you have the coils, the wraps onto the base, the warmer the vape is going to be. If you want it to be a little bit cooler, you can adjust it by raising up the wraps a little bit, and you can do that using the actual rod that I just used. And all you need to do is just give it a little bit of a raise. That's all. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to mount this on the device. We're going to warm it up. Warm up these coils, baby. Forget about it. This is, of course, if you don't have a torch. If you had a torch, you can actually torch these wrappings beforehand and get them a whole lot better as far as... Let's see if I can actually show you what I'm going to do. So pretty much what we're going to be doing is we're going to be firing them, and we're going to be firing them and pressing them inward just a little bit of a hair. See that? Do the same with the other one. So as it fires, there we go. See that? Nice even glow. That's what you want. See that? Now this is what I actually use. These are ceramic plier tips that are available from Avid, and they're totally great and ideal for this kind of application. This is how it looks right now, up close and personal. See if I can focus that a little better. Okay, so this is how she looks. This is how she looks when she gets fired. Oofa! Forget about it. Look at that. I can light up a basement. What do you think? Okay. So she fires up nice and even. Okay. And as you can see, just to show you up close, the distance. See that? I have a little bit of distance between the cap and the wraps, and it's right there dead center. Same with this one. See that? Okay. So now what we have to do is just add the actual cotton. Okay, so I have my cotton. I'm actually going to be using is Cellu cotton for this application. And some people say that, you know, Bish, how come you use, I feel like you use a lot of cotton. And I'm like, be honest with you, I'm really not using a lot of cotton. If I use any less cotton, I'm not going to enjoy the vape, because I won't be able to chain vape with the amount of ohms that I have running on my application here. So I like it to be that it's not going to dry up the length, because what happens is, what people may not realize is that when you're sub-ohm vaping, okay, and you look at these wraps, from the distance from here to here, okay, the distance from here to here, you're going to be already drying up that cotton or wick really quick, as opposed to the rest of the cotton or wick that's actually sitting in here in the well. Okay, so if you want to take advantage, you're going to have to thicken up a little bit of the wick. So that way you can chain vape if you're doing sub-ohms and it's more of a moisturize of a vape. You're going to notice that if you're able to chain vape for 4 seconds or 5 seconds, that if you actually add a little bit more wicking to it, you're going to be able to chain vape all the way up to 10 seconds, if not a little bit more. So what I did was I just cut half of the cellulose, about, I would say 3 inches, okay, long, and then I divided it in half. And as you can see, this is pretty much the piece that I'm actually going to be using. Now this is 2M size of the diameter of the wraps that I'm actually using. So what I'm only doing is I'm going to stick this in very gently. Okay, and then what I do is with a pair of pliers, I start, as you can see that? Now, as you can see, now I'm starting to feel a little friction. Guess what? That's where I stop. I like to feel the friction so it's not loose. I really don't like it loose, because what that means is I'm going to dry up that section a whole lot faster doing my sub-ohms. Now, unless you're doing a little bit high resistance and you're using a variable voltage device, then it's a different story. Then you can get away with using much less cotton because you want to get some more heat. But being that heat is not the issue here, the issue here is to keep this very, very saturated. So that's why I want to use a little bit more wicking. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting a little bit out about here, okay? And the reason for that is because I'm going to stick that in the well. Same thing on the other side, about here. Okay, so it looks like little bow ties. Okay. Now for the next one. And I'm just rolling up the other wick. So that, I want resistance. I'm actually right-handed, so I got to do it this way. So I start yanking and pulling. Bingo. Okay. Now what I do is I even it out, same size. Okay. Now for juice. I'm going to be using Buka. Forget about it, from Fluid. So what I like to do is first, I like to start from the wrap and work my way outside. Very little. Not too much juice. Only just a little bit, just to get it a little bit wet. Okay. The reason for that is because now I can actually position the wick inside the well. Okay. And what I'm actually going to be using is these ceramic pliers. And as you can see, they work beautifully. Look at that. See, I can gently put it in. There we go. So as you can see, I could have added a little bit more wicking, but this is more than enough. See that? Okay. There we go. So now, being that I'm going to be doing, being it's dual coils, I'm going to be taking advantage of the biggest air slot holes right there. So you can see, let me see if I can focus that. Okay, so I'm going to be using one on each end. Okay, one here, one there. And what I like to do is I just put my thumb on it to hold it. Put the cap on, it's a screw on. Okay. And now what I can do is I can just add a few more juice. Okay, so this is ready to get vaped. Forget about it. Okay, and just to show you, I just took it off the mod. See, we're at 0.24 ohms. Like I said, okay? So it's just a total of 6 wraps each side using 2 mil of the size of diameter. Canthal wire, 0.24 ohms. Okay? So now I'm going to put it back on my AmeriVape mod, copper. So let's take a look at this. Nice. Forget about it. I tell you. Totally great. And as you can see, nothing burned on the cotton. Very, very saturated. Add some more buka. And let's give it a whale, baby, at 0.24 ohms. Oofa. Oofa. What a vape. Delicious vape. Oh, man. Add a couple more drops. Now I have to break in the cotton. It's a fresh cotton in there. Gotta break it in. Unbelievable. It's a great taste, great performing addy. Now the only thing about it that I've noticed is once the ring gets a little moist, as you can see right now, I don't know if you can tell. Let me see if I can zoom that in a little. Okay. See some of the moisture? There's some moisture on the sides. Well, what I found is that when I get moisture, either from over dripping, it gives me like a whistle. Kind of like a whistle sound. Small little sound. So the only thing around it is to dry up the ring, or removing the cap and then drying out the inside of the ring. Wow, great vapor, great taste. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. That's how simple it is to build this at 0.24 ohms. Dual coils, mwah, magnifique of a taste, magnifique of a vapor. Oh man, and great freaking throat hit. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Live hard and vape hard.